In this video, we're going to do an unboxing. We are going to unbox an Elegoo 3D printer. This is the Neptune 4 Pro. I've already cut the tape, so let's get into it. A lot of things you can make with these. I'm probably going to have to put this on the floor and bring it up to y'all. Wrapped really well. In fact, I'm going to get a picture of the inside the box. So we have the user manual for the Neptune 4 Pro 3D printer. Notice before first use paperwork. Now there is a lot to setting one of these up, and we'll get into that later as we go. But for now, let's just get this unboxed, and I'll do my best to explain what I know about it as we go. This is new to us. This is something that we have never done before. I do have a little bit of experience with CNC programming and running metalworking machines. So that will come into use doing some of this. I do have a little bit of experience with CAD, and that's going to have a lot to do with this. But anyway, I do believe I'm going to have to set this on the floor so I have room to put everything on the table. So we have this piece here. That is what the control panel is going to rest on. We have the extension cord. I believe this is to hold your spool of filament. In fact, I know it is. I believe that's going to mount that way. And this should screw into here, like so. This is a 4-fan system. It's going to blow on your filament as you're making parts to keep things cool, keep your head cool. Now, I'm going to warn y'all now, I do not know all the proper terms for all the parts that are on these 3D machines, but I think you'll get what I'm talking about as we go. Okay, in this bag here, we have some test filament. This is to clean the little tube that passes through. Not sure what that is. Then we have the pieces and bolts that are going to be used to put it together. The tool bag with the tools needed to put it together. This is going to be grease for the 3D printer. Some zip ties. The cable plugging into your router, internet. I'm pretty sure this is I think this is a thing that'll pick up your Wi-Fi. Or let's see, it may be a memory. Looks like it's got an SD card in it, so maybe a SD card reader. This is your sensor that you're going to have up top, and then when you run it, when your spool runs out of filament, this will shut the machine down. This is a couple nozzles. Got a memory stick in there that's going to have some programs on it for the machine. And got that bag empty. Let's see. This is a glue stick. On some of the tables, if you're having problem keeping your filament stuck to the table, you can use a little bit of glue stick and it'll help it stick. Hopefully we won't need much of that. Okay, now we're getting to some of the actual machine. This is actually the top. It'll go up like this above the table. Let me go wipe my hands off real good. Okay, I went and got me a piece of cloth because I'm picking up the table plate. Oh, it looks like it's attached, so I'm going to be picking up the whole table. So this is the controller. And remember I was talking about it resting in this. It's magnetic. So that holds that. Now we're getting the print head with the nozzle. This heats up and it's going to help push the filament through to make your product. Now we're getting down to the meat and bones of the machine. I think I'm about ready to pull that out. Okay, this is your table with your table plate. That should be magnetic. We're going to go ahead and remove these. And we'll get into more of how you set this thing up later on. But I believe we have unboxed all the pieces and we're going to start putting it together. All right, so we need to get the manual. Let's read this. Notice before first use. I'm just going to scan over this. We'll go over this again later. It's your auto leveling procedures, which you have to manually level first. It talks about your power supply voltage, your printhead assembly installation, and lubrication instructions. So let's go ahead and get the manual. And let me grab y'all. As you can see, I do have everything laid out here. We have our tools. All of the screws or bolts are labeled for what we need to do. All of our little tools. So the print head is going to be this. And this is what they're wanting us to put on first. See if I can find the end. Get rid of that. And these are the PM316 screws. There'll be 2 of them. Now here's where having hand issues, these little Ziploc bags can be the pain. So 2 of these, that'll be the longer ones. Let's go ahead and put these back in the bag so I don't lose them. And let's go ahead and find our Allen wrench to fit these. I'm thinking the smaller one. Yes. So we have 2 of those screws. From the rear, the rear is going to be this way. Attach the printhead head assembly using these 2 screws to affix the printer head through the hose of the cable strain relief bracket to affix underside of the print head. So we are going to need all of those. So I'm going to dump them all back out. It says, and hope I don't drop none of them. Now, I'm trying to see this bracket is going to go right in there, I do believe. There's 2 rollers and 2 hose, and that fits up in there. Now, I believe this was the long ones, so that's also going to go through these 2 holes here. So it's holding the head backwards. Okay. Should be able to put those right there. We're going to go ahead and do the front, I think. This is going to be the shorter screws. And that'll hold this head on. Now we're going to go ahead and get the other little screw or bolt. These are the little short. It'll be PM38. Let's line this hole up here. We're not going to tighten these all the way up. We're just going to lightly get them to where they're holding this head on there. Because we may have to move it around a little bit to get the ones they said put on first on. Hopefully I'm not making a mistake doing this first. Okay, now I'm going to go get some of the packing material. In fact, here's some right here. Because we're going to flip this over. Two of those would probably work. Try to hold that up. Now, we can take the bracket right here, and this catch part's going to go toward the front. And that should go, it looks to me like it goes up top here. With these longer PM316. Now we're going to go ahead and get the other one before we tighten that one up. That one hit. That one hit. Just going to snug them up a little bit. Now, I got the two in the back. Use the PM3x16 screws to fix the print head through the holes of the cable strain relief bracket, and two PM3/8 screws to fix the underside of the print head, which I have done. From the front, affix the remaining two PM3/8 screws to affix the underside of the print head. So let me look at this. Those two. Not seeing any. Well, I'm not seeing any other places. We're going to tighten these up. I'm going to tighten the back ones up first. Yeah, it don't fit that way. That ought to be good. That ought to be good. Put this over. Go ahead and tighten up these two. I can get that in there. Give this one more check. Okay, don't want to overdo it because those are really fine thread. Now, I'm trying to find, it looks like I already did those. Okay, guys, I'm going to grab y'all real quick and just kind of bring you over the table because the screws, okay, here is two of those. These are the two long ones. And you see this wheel? There are two more on each side of that wheel. Those were the two I was having issues finding, but there they are right there. And of course, the two, I'm not going to move that with one hand. So there's two on the front and you can't miss those. All right, so let's put these other two little PM38 in those two holes that I just showed you that are right by this wheel. Hopefully I can get them in there without dropping them. I need to move this back up here. Well, I can hang on to the itsy bitsy screws or bolts. All right, that one's in. And that one's in. Now let's snug them up. I should say tighten them up. That one's good. And that one's good. So that should be the print head on there now. So then, oh, and before I go any further, we have to be sure, let's find our electrical. I don't want to touch that because my hands have been on those rails and I'm pretty sure they have grease on them. I'm thinking it's going to be, okay, here we go. On the back side, this is your power button over here. On your back side is your switch to put your voltage on 230 or 115. This comes from the factory for 230. I'm going to be running it on 110, so we're sliding this over to 115, just like that. Be sure you do that, and that's what this yellow piece of paper is. Be sure you read this before you do any kind of plugging this thing in. All right, so we've got that in. The next step on this is we're going to actually put this onto this part here. I think I'm going to get some more of the packing material because I'm going to have to prop one side up. All right, so to put the back on, I don't know if I'll need this or not, but we got it. This bag is now empty. To put the back on, we're using HM545. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the big ones. These 4, and they're black. Those are going to hold that to the base. 2 per each side. I can get the bag open. All right, that bag will be empty too. And then we need to get the bigger Allen wrench. Pretty sure that's going to be the biggest one there. And let's look at the bottom of this. You can see there's a hole there on each of these. So that's what we're going to line up with. Let me lay this back down. There is a hole here on each side of the table. So probably I'm going to have to, let's do this side has the power cord on it. So I'm wondering if I can just get that up high enough. Make sure I'm not putting it on anything I don't need to. This is where a couple extra hands would come in really handy. I'm going to go ahead and feed that through there. Maybe this won't be too difficult. Should have backed this up just a little bit more. I don't think I'm quite right. All right, we need to back this up where I can access it a little bit easier. Lay this back down. That ought to work. Make sure I got my bolt. I'll hang it over the edge of the table just a little bit. And maybe that'll make it easier. And that's the front. There's a cable here that you have to watch out for. I think I finally grabbed the hole. We're going to go ahead and put a little bit of tightness to it. I think I got it. Yeah. Let me sure we're off that cable back there. We are. All right, that's snug. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other one in on this side too. Okay, we almost got this one in. All right. We'll come back and tighten them up later. We're going to flip it around so I can get to this side. And that cable, I think we're going to have to kind of push it aside to get to it. Make sure we're not on any cables. Oh yeah, this cable's kind of covering the holes just a little bit. Not bad at all though. See how lucky we are. Here we line up. Come out just a little bit more. Thought I left them over there loose enough that look like we're over far enough. Nope. Oh, dropped it. Oh, me. We'll get there eventually. I think I caught it. There we go. Now this is the Neptune 4 Pro. I think it's like an 8-inch by 8-inch or close to 9-inch table. I don't remember right offhand, but they make a max, and it's got I think a 5-inch bigger table. And I have a feeling some of the stuff that I'm wanting to print, I'm definitely going to have to get the one with the bigger table. But I thought that this would be the good one to learn with, make sure I can do what I need to do with this one before I invest, in another one. And this machine was on sale, and we got 2 rows of filament, and I think we spent $360. All right, so since these are in, I can get this off. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them up. A little more light would have been nice. All right, we got these tight. I see 4 screws on this side that's the same size as those. I'm going to just kind of test to make sure they're tight. All right, those on that side are tight. Disappeared on you, didn't I? We're going to flip it around and then tighten these back up. I know you're a little bit away from me. This may not be the best way to show this put together, but hopefully y'all can understand what I'm doing. And if I can do this, you can do it too. Probably a little easier if you have a little more coordination with your hands than I do. I'm going to call that one good. One more time on that one. Make sure this one's good too still. All right, I think we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and check these 4 here. All right. Make sure I'm not on my cables. All right. Now, that's done. Now we're going to put the control holder. Let me see if I can move a little closer to y'all, because we're going to be putting this mount here on. So let's just go ahead and pull this up here and see where we're at. 3 holes here, and up in here, inside these slots, are 1, 2, 3 holes. Now that says, get our book. On that, we are going to use PM420, PM445, PM418, PM420, 3 screws. The other screws that I checked for tightness when I was over there were these 4 here. It's not going to hurt to run through all these bolts. And don't over tighten anything, but just check them to make sure that they're good and snug. I can get this bag open. There we go. These type bags are the vein of me. Okay, there's that. May need a different Allen wrench here. I'm thinking this one. Well, this one feels right. So this, there's 2 at the bottom. Let's see here. 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top. So we're going to put this one in. That one in first. It'll be one of the bottom ones. It is magnetic. Pulling my wrench up. Trying to stay out y'all's way. Got that one started. Okay, now grab another one. A little bit harder because it's going to be closer to the table. Now I may have to tip this thing over because I just can't see down there. It's nothing that it should hurt. Just be easy with it. There we go. Now I can see it. Y'all can get a look at the bottom too. Got a fan there, fan there. And I dropped it. Let's see. All right, we're gonna catch it. Yeah. Hopefully this one will go right in. Let's see. Oh, the magnet's catching it. I think I grabbed it right there. So let's start snugging these up. Well, magnet keeps pulling my wrench out. That'll be good there. One more there. And hopefully one here. And that's on. So that is going to hold that. Now let's see what else we have. Release the left and right protective corners of the socket to install the flat cable. It's talking about this. Pretty sure we're talking about this. So we're going to just pull those over. We'll plug this in. Let's see. Make sure I got this right way. Looks like it goes this way. Let's see, there's a slide. It only go one way. Push it until these clip, which it did. And then you're going to work this cable into this little holder. See, we're in there now. So we got that done. Now, on this, it shows that they've plugged in this cable here, and it's going to go into the front. It looks like a little phone clip. Only one place it can go. It's going to go right there. And then you have a USB-C and the other smaller USB there. Make sure y'all are getting that. Should be. Okay, so looks like now we're going to put the filament holder on. And we're going to use PM418. PM48, PM418. That'll be these. Okay, we got those open. Two of those. And we're going to, this is what's going to go up here. And the holes are, where are the holes? Elegoo right there. All that was in that bag was those screws. These are not threaded. Ah, no? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to get y'all so I can show you this. These are like stuck together. That's what I heard moving around. And then never done one of these before, so let me grab y'all. When you get ready to put your filament holder in, these little two nuts here slide in this groove, and that's what you're going to be looking for. I thought they was going to be in it itself, but it is not. So now we can just go ahead and put one of them in there, and we will line it up with the bolt. Oh, I thought I caught it. Yeah, I did. See if we can go ahead and grab the other one before we get it to you. That should grab right there. I actually think I have the wrong wrench for that. This one. There we go. So I'm gonna line that up with that Elegoo. Let me make sure that's what they did. Looks like that's where it is. I'm gonna push it forward. That's close enough to me. Keep a little bit of forward pressure on it. That ought to be tight enough on that one. This one probably too, but yeah, it's good. Yeah, okay. And I've already screwed that in. So now we're going to put this filament sensor on. It will shut the machine down when your roll of filament runs out. And the bolt for it is already in there in the bag right here. I believe it's going to be this same Allen wrench. No, this one here. Yes. And since our roll is going to be on this side, because there's a plug right here for this, we're going to put this in on this side. Just like so. Thinking, let me look at their picture and see how they have theirs. The plug is like that, so okay, so it's, even though you tighten this up, that bracket is still going to move on both axes. It'll move this way and it'll move up and down. And when you're hooked up, in fact, we're going to go ahead and plug this cable in to the sensor. Right here. It only go one way. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to put a cable clamp on for this big cable. And we're going to use P48 cable clamp. P48 cable clamp. This right here. And everything is nicely labeled. I really like that. I haven't really had to guess at anything other than those two screws that were back here. Kind of threw me for a loop for a minute because I didn't see them. But this just clamps around this cable. And it's going to, let me turn this around carefully. Let's see. When installing the cable clamp, you will need to first organize the cables and bunch them together before fully securing the clamp. Be sure to leave enough slack for the hot end to travel freely to each end and up and down. So that's going to connect right here. And let's see, these cables plug in here. So this cable is going to want to go in the mount with the big cable. So this is one screw. This is this away. So it's just going to clamp over like that. I want to go ahead and get this cable in there too, up underneath this one. I think it would be better underneath. I might should have put it in first. There we go. Now, we are going to have to kind of squish this big cable up a little bit, kind of curve it around a little bit so it clears the hole, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and get our screw wherever I misplaced it. There it is, right by the tool. I think we're going to need the smaller tool. Oh yeah, this one here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of figure out how much there I should go like that. No, they go on top, looks like. So we're all the way up. Got some slack in there. I think I'm going to push it further in. And it come out of the I'll get it, guys, I promise. I have definitely learned patience as I've grown older. I can get this cable pushed back in there a little better. Just want to rest that way. So I think I'm going to. Now I'm worried about that. I wonder if I think that goes under here. So I've already found a mistake. So we need to pop this back out. And it goes underneath this top rail. I didn't look at that picture good enough when I did it. Let's plug it back in. Make sure it's clipped. Put it back in the bracket. There, that's much better. I knew something wasn't quite right. So that goes underneath this top bar. So now we definitely have plenty of room. Now, one of these is going to plug. Let's see, we got a plug down here. That looks like the longer one. So this one is going to go up underneath here. I can't see. Ah! It goes that way, this way. Just that way. Okay, there's that one. And then this one is going to go right in here. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to read their instructions, but I think we got to plug these in. Nope, they are putting the cooling fan on now. That's going to be this. This is where the air comes out. It's going to blow toward the coolant head. So that is going to mount in these holes here. There's 3. That's where this plug is going to go. So we need these 3 long ones, PM445. And I believe that's the last bag of bolts we have. And that's going to be that little wrench right there, I think. Nope, smaller. That'll be the one we've been using. Yes. So we're going to drop in that middle one. And we're going to line it up with that hole. And my cable would be in the way. Just slightly snug. Go ahead and put the other two in. And the last one. Now, even though we've almost got this together, it's far from being ready to print. We're going to have to check, make sure everything's tight, check for the tension on stuff, the belts and the rollers. But we're going to end this video when I get it put together, and then we'll start an alignment and getting it ready to print video. I might go all the way to the alignment. We'll see. Because I know this video is long, and I know it takes me a while to get stuff put together. But I try to do it right. But everybody makes mistakes, as that cable position was wrong. But it is right now. Let's see, that ought to be tight enough. All right, they're on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in. It will only go one way. I think. Get my hands up in there. And pop that bad boy in. All right, it's in there. That ought to be fine. Okay, so we've got the fan on. We plugged the plug in there. Basically, we're going to plug everything in now. You've got a cable here that will plug in on this Z-axis. Another one that'll be Z-axis. It'll be the long, skinny one. There we go. And then These plug into these two. Got a bigger one. And then a smaller one. And all those are plugged in. This, of course, is your power cable. Which I'm not going to plug it in right now, but it'll plug in right here. I'm going to be getting a longer cable for that. Now, on these instructions, it talks about lubrication instructions. Before using your printer for the first time, it's strongly recommended to apply the supply grease on the surfaces of the rails shown below to ensure the smooth sliding and varying components. Further, additional grease should be periodically reapplied as part of ongoing and regular printer maintenance. And the slide is right here. Let me turn this around. Let's see. Best way to do this. These rollers roll across this silver bar, so we'll put some there. And where else does it show some? The rails up underneath here. Okay, so we're going to turn this on for the first time. Power switch is over here. We've got our light on up there, LED light. You can hear our fans running there. And we've got the screen coming on there.